How's it going, everybody? DC Fan 99. I'm back. I realized for the first time since like mid season, I've had some priorities that I've had to attend to. I'm very sorry. I've been giving like community posts every here and there, but Cowboys were also just winning more, and that really pisses me off too. And it just takes a lot out of me. By the way, Merry Christmas. I was just wrapping some gifts and, uh, watching the Family Guy Christmas episode. So that's what I've been doing. I also graduated. I graduated from UTA on Friday the 13th, and that required a lot of focus. That required um, me having to lock in for a few weeks. So that's why I've been sort of out of commission with this channel for a little bit during the season. But, you know, I'm out. I'm done with college. I plan on working very soon. And so hopefully I can still keep up with this as a hobby. It's one of my goals. But, anyways, so yeah, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's talk about how we're feeling as far as the team, as far as the culture, where the culture is going. And, you guys, I think you'll be proud of me for this. I showed some self control lately. One of my friends recently shared with me that there was an event going on at the Star at Frisco. I think it was on the 20th or something like that. It was the Dallas Cowboys Christmas party. It was open to fans. It was free admission, all of that junk. And Gene and Jerry Jones was gonna be there, and he was like, "Are you gonna go?" And I'm like, "Man, that's really tempting." And I almost went. I almost pulled the trigger on it, but I didn't even have a sign to bring with me. And it's just kind of a dick move also. Like if it's a Christmas party and I'm there by myself and I'm just the only one, causing like some ruckus and just trying to bring people's vibes down or whatever. So I decided against it. I was good. I showed some restraint. I showed some self-control. I'm not the next like Luigi Mangione or fucking whatever, but um, I will be at the Cowboys draft party again. I'm still aiming for that. I'm gonna get my sign for that ready. That would have been very funny though if I would have showed up, but I just didn't have the heart to. I know all those families that would have been pissed off at me and whatever, so I didn't want to deal with it. I had some shit to do anyway. But with all that being said, things are so fucking horrible for us right now, man. For those of you who somehow weren't aware or you don't know by now, the Dallas Cowboys are officially out of playoff contention as of yesterday at around 3:30 when the Washington Commanders pulled an upset against the Philadelphia Eagles at FedEx Field or whatever the fuck they call it now. Um, I believe they're 10-5 now. And so the Philadelphia Eagles, they still have not claimed, excuse me, they still have not claimed first place of the division. Still haven't clinched it yet. But what that win did for Washington was it eliminated us from playoff contention. And then what did we do? We went on to Sunday Night Football and we proceeded to convincingly beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in front of a sellout crowd at AT&T Stadium. And there were a lot of white flags waving that day. And I was just really, I mean, it's shit like this that makes me upset. It's shit like that that makes me pissed off. And yes, okay, I'm here. I'm wearing like my Dallas Cowboys like merch and my hat, my necklace, and whatever else. And I'm rooting against them as I'm watching the games because, look, I think I may have explained this in the last stream I did, mid-season, but it still applies. I'm a Cowboys fan. I want to see the Cowboys do good. I want to see the Cowboys win. However, the win that we got last night was about as short term of a fucking win as you could possibly fucking get. Okay? I mean, it's not even this. It's not even this, okay? I want to see the Dallas Cowboys succeed long term. I want to see the Dallas Cowboys win games that matter. So whenever you see like Cowboys fans on Instagram or shitter talking about, oh, the fan base is so negative. Why don't you want to see your own team finish strong? Why don't it's just for the tank. Oh, I see. It's like, no. I want to see the Cowboys lose the rest of these games, and it doesn't even have anything to do with, the draft. It doesn't even have anything to do with like what pick we have in the first round. It has everything to do with culture. It has a little bit to do with the draft, but it has more to do with like the culture and like what needs to happen for Cowboys fans to eventually realize that this is bullshit and we have to have enough of this eventually. We need to be demoralized. I mean, we need to be absolutely fucking demoralized as a team and as a fan base. Okay, so that there's no more bullshit ass excuses that people can run behind to justify the garbage that they're seeing on the field. The win, lose, or tie, I'm a Cowboys fan till I die crowd. I'm talking to those people especially. Now, look, I'm not here to tell you how you're supposed to watch your team. I'm not here to tell you how you're supposed to enjoy watching football. If you want to go to the games, go to the games. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money or whatever. But I'm just saying, if you really, truly care about, the Dallas Cowboys and you want to see your team win the games that do matter and you want to see the longest drought in franchise history being broken, then you have to care about, unfortunately, the politics behind the sport. You have to be familiar with your team's history. You have to know why it is that why we were named America's team by NFL Films. Okay, and I'll spoil it for you. It's because of the fans. Without the fans, we would not be America's team. Okay? And you also have to realize why we've been losing for the last 28 years. You have to know, well, we won that one Super Bowl. We won Super Bowl 30, and we did that without Jimmy Johnson, so I guess Jerry Jones is right? No, he wasn't fucking right. Okay, he wasn't right because we've been scrambling to to put together a competent football team that Jimmy Johnson did not put together ever since then. So it's just, if you want to be a casual fan and you're not interested in all that, you just want to see your favorite players get big highlights, get big plays, and do their little TikTok dances in the fucking end zones and whatever. If you're only interested in that, that's fine. Okay? The problem arises, however, when you start to dip your fucking toes into conversations about the politics, about the history of the team. That does not concern you. That should not concern you, because if you're a casual fan, then you should just stick to watching the highlights. You should just stick to glazing Dak Prescott no matter what, glazing CeeDee Lamb no matter what, glazing Micah Parsons no matter what, Trayvon Diggs, DaRon Bland, yada yada yada. You get it. Okay? I'm not going to tell you how to enjoy the team, so don't tell me how I should enjoy the team. Don't project, or don't be the pick me guy and start waving your finger around calling everybody a fake fan just because they don't have that delusion that you have. Okay? I told my students this last semester. Um, they're like, why do you have a sell the team like magnet on the back of your truck? And I just tell them, are you a Cowboys fan? They'll be like, yes. Okay. Once you're older, you'll get it. And that's really because it would take too long to explain. You have to ride with them and you have to live with it. And you have to like pay attention to the games. You have to pay attention to the vibes surrounding the team so that you get an idea of like where the culture is heading. I'm very happy in general with the direction that we've been going this season because oh my god, it was fucking beautiful seeing those empty stands in training camp, seeing like fans getting pissed off and hearing those boo birds. We didn't hear a lot of them. We have not heard nearly as much as we should have heard them. But seeing the empty stands and seeing less and less fans showing up to the regular like noon games or afternoon games or whatever, the ones that aren't prime time, it's just you can feel the tide turning a little bit. We're starting to turn somewhat of a corner. Okay, but the thing that stops that momentum, what stops that momentum is reinforcing the casual fans and their delusions that we're good at, we're a good team, we just have to have a good draft. We're a good team, we just got, a lot of injuries. So wins like yesterday really, really fucking hurt us. Long run, they really hurt us. Okay, finishing the season strong, what does that even mean? Can someone tell me what that? Because you're not that momentum. The momentum that we have now is not going to carry over into next season. What is it? What are you even talking about? It doesn't incentivize, but it doesn't incentivize players to come back if they're going to hit free agency like DeMarcus Lawrence. So I don't even understand the point. It is it good for team morale? Sure. But what good is team morale when there isn't a head coach that they can believe in once this team does get back into January form? Once this team does get back into the dance for the postseason? Mike McCarthy is one of the worst coaches that you could possibly ever have lead your team out of the tunnel for the postseason. Okay, he's a white Mike Tomlin, as I like to put it. He's not a coach, he's a fucking cheerleader. Okay, and I'm saying that because ever since he's been the head coach of this team, we have consistently been one of the worst disciplined squads in the NFL, very consistently. And, everybody's saying it's cool that everybody knows it and everyone's acknowledging it, that Mike McCarthy is probably definitely going to be here next year and for the next 5 years. Because look at these wins that he's racking up. Look at the wins that he racked up over the last 3 years. We've had 36 regular season wins in the last 3 years before this 2024 season. We only have one playoff win against a losing team to really show for it. But do you think Jerry Jones gives a fuck about that? As long as you're winning games and you're giving the delusion or the illusion that this is a good football team, that we could, we're going to make some noise in the postseason or fucking whatever, then you're getting asses in the stands And that means more profit, more revenue for Jerry Jones and his piece of shit fucking narcissistic family. Um, so what I'm saying is, if he kept Jason Garrett for over 10 years, and the only notable thing he's done for us is 8 and 8, 8 and 8, 8 and 8. Well, you look at Mike McCarthy, you got 12 and 5, 12 and 5, 12 and 5. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep hammering this point. I know I'm a broken record, and I'm sorry. He's probably going to be here longer than Tom Landry was. Just purely because of that. You know? For sure will be here longer than Jason Garrett was. And that's why I keep saying, everyone is like, oh, well, changes will happen once, Jerry Jones dies, and once Stephen Jones dies, and the next Jones family member dies. Change can happen literally right now. Change can happen as soon as next season. Change can happen as soon as this upcoming off season. In fact, hey, Merry Christmas, Mosh. Thank you. Off topic, but I got beat last night after scoring. Oh, I'm sorry, Sean. I'm sorry about that. Sad the Cowboys won yesterday. Yes, absolutely. I have some people spamming in chat. That's okay. But, oh god, what was I talking about? It's just it pisses me off. Change can happen as soon as this upcoming off season. The fans just have to stop. Do what you did in training camp this year. Just stop. Stop going to the games. Stop buying merchandise. Okay, if you're thinking of, I know it's too late for me to say this, being the 23rd of December, but if you're thinking of getting any merchandise for your family, please don't. Just no, I can't do. I can't say that. I'm trying to be the guy, just do whatever with your money. I'm not here to tell you what to do with it or whatever, but it's just the more you buy into it, the more it's gonna last. The longer it's gonna last. Because we've been telling, Jerry Jones and his family for all these years that we're content as long as you make us look good. As long as you make us look good, we don't care. And we don't even have to look good on the field. Just give us some bone to chew on. Like, hey, if we get lots of views, if we pull lots of views, then, have Charlotte Jones, have that bitch really force that narrative, really force that, point through the Cowboys media and say, oh, look, you think this team is irrelevant? Well, look at all these views we're pulling. Has nothing to do with what people are saying about us. And, talk about the merchandise sales. Talk about that. Talk about just all these individual stats. Talk about our all-time win record, for example. It's just a joke, man. So we have to stop with the complacency. And a pattern that I've been noticing lately that, is also concerning is it kind of ties in with what I said before about Cowboys fans starting to sound like Jerry Jones, because that's how much the copium and the opioids are running rampant in the Dallas fan base. Because, I mean, look at fan pages, for example. Some of them are just avoiding the conversation entirely about ownership and management, and they're already talking about, like, making mock drafts and fucking whatever, talking about Ashton Genty, showing Travis Hunter highlights, whatever, right? But then you have some of the fan pages who are, acknowledging it, Law Nation, for example, right? But they have to walk this awkward line between being real with the following, being real with the fan base, and telling them the truth and whatever, and not absolutely tanking their own engagement. So they'll talk about how they're aware and they're conscious of the fact that we're never going to do anything as long as the Jones family is here. But then the next post, they're making a mock draft. Oh, will we get Isaiah Bond? Will we get Ashton Genty? Will we get this guy? It's like, what's the point of this post? You just said, like 2 days ago, you were just conscious of the fact earlier that, we're never going to do anything, as long as we're being owned by this monarchy, by this dictatorship, right? Because that's what it is. That's what's going on here right now. So what's the point of talking about these new players that we could potentially get? What's the point of talking about free agency? What's the point of the draft even speculating on what new additions, even for coaches? What's the point talking about the new coaches we could get? It doesn't matter. So what I would really, really, really love to see from this fan base and from the fan pages in particular is to really hone in on this conversation that needs to be had with everybody. Everybody who's, engaging with this sort of content. We have to talk about why it is we've been losing and really hone in on what we can do to turn the culture around, what we can do as fans to turn the culture around, because after all, we're the reason why we're America's team in the first place. So, and if you're a conservative, you can say in chat or whatever, make America's team great again, if you want to put it that way. So it's just, and it's not fire the GM Jerry. I've honed in on that too. It's just sell the team. That's those three little words that I would love to see run around more within this fan base, is just sell the team. Sell the team, okay? And I've had some people say that they're gonna meet me at the next draft party in April, uh, holding up signs of their own, holding up, chanting "sell the team." I'm really looking forward to that. I really hope those people will be there, because I'm definitely gonna be there. At least I hope so, pending that I'm not on like some list or whatever. And that's also part of the reason why I didn't crash that Christmas party that they were having at the Star in Frisco, because with Gene and Jerry there, that was hard to turn down. But anyway, so that's just been like the general thoughts. That's just been the general like pattern I've been seeing as of lately radiating from the fan base. It's like we want to see the team do good, but how good? Are you content with just us looking good, or are you waiting for us to actually do good? People are saying, oh, I'm going to crack a Coke for this one. I just want to get this off my chest because this really pisses me off. People are saying, how can you be so glass, half empty about this season? We're winning games and we're finishing strong. We didn't go 12-5 this year because of all the injuries and the lack of depth, and the receiving core just wasn't there for this year. You just want to see us look good. You don't care about, actually just making the postseason and doing something. It's just, how can you be so glass half empty? Really? Are you serious? Correct me if I'm wrong. Winning regular season games does not put an end to the longest drought in franchise history. Drought of what? Look it up. Drought of what? The Cowboys Super Bowl drought. No, the Cowboys NFC title game drought. Talk about that. Oh, we're finishing the season strong? Oh, well, when's the banner gonna get fucking hung already? Where's Mike McCarthy's statue already? You know what pisses me off? This team is so much like Disney that as soon as Jerry Jones passes, I really would not be surprised if they made a stadium for that piece of shit. If they made did I say stadium? That they would make a statue for Jerry Jones. Oh my fucking god. Yeah, let's call out our coach 12 wins, 12 wins, 12 wins. Yeah, exactly. It's just, what does that do for us? What does that do? What does regular season bullshit do when you can't make anything out of it in the games that truly, truly matter? In the games that define what our culture is. You want to know what the culture for the team has been for the last 28 years? Look at our playoff success. That's where it's fucking been. But the fan base still sticks around because why? Oh, well, we're America's team. Oh, well, yeah, we suck on the field, but hey, look at all these jersey sales. Yeah, we suck on the field, but look at all these views we're pulling. You still think we're irrelevant? I hate that people are starting to sound like Jerry and think that that's okay. And think that that's not just straight copium, just straight unfiltered fucking copium. But anyways, um as far as the team itself, man, I just I don't see how any of our players can take Mike McCarthy seriously at this point. I mean, I honestly don't. Everybody wants that one player's head on a stick. What's his fucking? I don't know what his name is. Number 27, when he muffed the ball versus the Cincinnati Bengals, and basically gift wrapped the game back to him. You know, everyone wants his head on a stick, but it's like, why? Why do you want to see us win? Like, we were still mathematically in the run to getting into the postseason, but getting into the postseason to do what? And that's another thing that ticks me off. When people within this fan base say, oh, well, excuse me, we have to just make it to the postseason, anything can happen from there. Really, anything can happen. Well, if you look at our playoff history, it seems to be going pretty consistently in one direction and one direction only. it, Anything can happen, though, right? Well, something tells me that something is very severely wrong. Okay, so what I'm saying is, let's not crucify the backup player or the depth player who's probably making the league minimum, and instead, can we just hone in? Can we just focus on the guy on top, the multi-billionaire on top, who is single-handedly responsible for fumbling the dynasty we had in the 90s and single-handedly responsible for the longest round franchise history? Oh, well, Jerry Jones is in the Hall of Fame. Jerry Jones, he started that fan base, or sorry, he started that dynasty. True, he was the one who brought in Jimmy Johnson. True, you can't take that away from him. As much as I hate the guy, you can't take that away from him. He is the one who single-handedly started and built the dynasty in Dallas. Okay, I'm not taking that away from him, but he's also the one who single-handedly fucking destroyed it. When he's bringing in Saudi investors into the locker rooms, showing the players off to them like they're animals in a fucking zoo. Now, Jimmy Johnson didn't like that, and I guarantee you that Troy Aikman didn't appreciate that shit either. And I think that's probably why he's one of the most vocal, Cowboys legends as soon as the season is, wraps, as soon as the season has come to an end. It's just embarrassing, So, I don't see anything good that comes from these wins. And I'm not even talking from a draft position standpoint. I'm just talking about culturally. It's just all it's doing, even when we're out of playoff contention, really, you guys are still talking about these wins to distract you from the fact that we've just been so that we have to talk about the underlying issues with this team. Well, I mean, CD Lamb got a badass catch, though. Thank you, CD Lamb, for playing through these games with a very obviously fucked up shoulder and possibly shortening your career just like Ezekiel Elliott did. Yeah. We'll see you again in 5 years to sign you to a 1 year deal, and then have you snap the ball to Dak Prescott in a moment of desperation in the last play of the game in the divisional round versus San Francisco 49ers. So that looking forward to that. Or we won't have to see that. We won't have to see that if the fan base can just focus on the big thing instead of taking out our anger and frustration on Wanya Thomas or that guy who muffed the punt versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Leon Lett Part 2, right? Well, Part 3 rather. Instead of talking about those guys, let's talk about the guys who are behind it. The guys who are sitting in the fucking owners in the owner's box. Let's talk about why Mike McCarthy is going to be here for another 10 years. At least. But anyways, that's really been all my thoughts so far. With, finishing school and everything and graduating, I haven't been able to pay as much attention to Cowboys games as much as I would have liked to. And I just had to turn games off early because I just can't really be motivated to finish the game when we're winning and it's looking like we're gonna fucking win. It especially when they don't mean anything anymore and all it does is just hurt us in the worst possible way. It fucking kills me, but hey, finish the season strong, right? But anyways, so I'm sorry to be that downer. I'm sorry to be the broken record and just keep repeating myself and whatever, but I really hope that you guys have a good Merry Christmas and a safe New Year. Also, next week we're playing the Philadelphia Eagles. I can't remember if that's going to be here or on the road, to be honest. But they still haven't locked up the NFC East, so they're more than likely going to play their starters anyway, and we'll just have to see what happens. But with that being said, I really hope that it is in Philly, because if it is, then the disrespect is going to be insane. With all the fuck Dallas chants and everything, especially if it's going to be a blowout, they're going to love that. And if it does turn out to be a blowout, and our defense doesn't come through and play their hearts out for no fucking reason at all, then that's going to be really demoralizing. And the more demoralized we are, the harder it's going to be to avoid talking about ownership. And it's like, okay, why the fuck do we suck so bad? Why the fuck are other teams and other fan bases so fearless about, disrespecting us, right? Okay, so we're at the Eagles, 1 p.m. Okay, gotcha. Thank you, Mosh. Thank you so much. Happy holidays to you, too. I really appreciate you. I know you've been here for a while, following this channel. I really appreciate it. And you giving me shout-outs. I really appreciate you, Mosh. Thank you so much. So, Merry Christmas to all of you guys. Merry Christmas to just, everybody celebrate responsibly. You guys have a safe week. Stay away from drunk drivers and all that shit. Go Cowboys, but sell the team. You guys have a good one. I'll see you next time, and peace.